Hello everyone and welcome to another Everton show. It was all going too well, wasn't it? Second in the Premier League table, unbeaten under Ronald Koeman, and then the League Cup does it again. And one of our potential avenues to Wembley is blocked off. I tell you, we're destined never to win that competition. Ian Snowden is alongside me this week. We just didn't see that coming, did we?
We didn't, because the boss picked a good side, a decent side. All right, he had to make changes, but the side he put out, full of internationals, and I thought we were well capable of winning that game.
There was 10 internationals plus Mason Holgate, but if it's not your night, it's not your night.
No, it wasn't. Terrific finish for the second goal. Nazy come back and haunted us with the first goal, and it just wasn't to be in front of goal for us.
We'll have to try again next year with the League Cup. We've got reaction to that Norwich City game, and of course the win against Middlesbrough coming up for you in this week's show, along with plenty more besides.
Just enjoyed my football really. Took one day at a time. It's an old cliche, but took nothing for granted. Never thought too much about what I have achieved before, and always tried to look forward.
I just made a forward run, and I think Lukaku either, I'm not sure if he left it or if he flicked it on, and the space just seemed to open up for me, and just kept going, and great finish, and delighted it went in.
Everton Under-23s turned in a 5-star performance to demolish Arsenal on Monday evening. Everton took the lead after just 4 minutes when David Hennen broke free down the left and centred for Kieran Dowell to steer home.
Yes, I think it's important, especially for the new players, to come out into the community. We're only, we're across the road from the stadium, and get a feel for the people that live around here.
And to turn that round and in such an important game was so it goes down as a great day. But you're looking at it and straight away you're thinking we can't go through that again. We're Everton, we're better than that.
What essentially went wrong against Norwich City, Snods?
It was a frustrating evening. Didn't really have that many chances. A couple of free kicks that the keeper did well, Ruddy, to save them. But I think you look at it and he's got to give his some fringe players a game to keep the momentum going for them. It's important that you do get game time. And like I said, people think just because they're training all the time, it's so different to game time. And we're no reserve team anymore. That's why the lads coming in find it difficult to get straight into the groove straight away.
Bit ring rusty, you mean?
Yeah, it certainly is. You'd be the same if you'd not played for a few weeks. That's exactly the same. So it's difficult for them.
It just wasn't to be, was it? Well, I think it's probably fair to dismiss the League Cup exit as just one of those nights. Things didn't go our way. Norwich took their chances. We didn't. And it's the Canaries who will now play Leeds United in round 4. After the game at Goodison, Ronald Koeman was disappointed, but not too downhearted.
Disappointed because you don't get a second opportunity to win the game. It's cup football and you don't get a second opportunity for that. But I think the problem was that we did not score the goal. I think I'm not disappointed about the attitude of my players tonight. I think we worked very hard to get a better result. A little bit unlucky in some few situations in the box, maybe 1 or 2 penalties and 2 shots on target, and they were very clinical, and we did not had that clinical part by attacking.
Like you say, we had 17 shots just in and around goal. It didn't go for us tonight.
No, that's sometimes it's difficult to explain why, because I think in a lot of situations we play good football, we create chances, but then you need to score the goal, or at least you need to shoot on target. But we had enough opportunities to score the goal, and a little bit unlucky by the first goal of Norwich. That happened, and that maybe was tonight.
Is it all about now picking ourselves up and going on another unbeaten run?
Yeah, but okay. We are very happy about the situation, what it was in the league. We are now disappointed, but we need to be disappointed, but from tomorrow on we need to prepare the Bournemouth game, and no, it's no reason to sit down.
Ronald, as always, very philosophical there, Snods, but let's put that one to bed. Let's look at the Premier League table. We're second after a good win against Middlesbrough last weekend.
Yeah, because I thought Middlesbrough did well for the first 20 minutes or so. I thought they moved the ball. We found it difficult to get into the game. When Middlesbrough opened the score, and I thought it could have been a tough afternoon, but we bounced back brilliantly and won convincingly in the end, 3-1. Second half, we could just relax and play stuff, but overall, the league form's been terrific.
What was your take on their goals, Snods?
That we did commentary, and it was a difficult one. I'm sure the keeper, Stecklenburg, thought he should have done better, but he's got two hands on the ball. The lads headed it. So I really, even I've seen it 10 times, I really don't know what to call.
Are you happy that Romelu Lukaku's claiming the third goal?
I
It
know
looks
he
as if
would.
he's got a slight nick, didn't he?
It didn't to me, but I know he'd claim it. All strikers do that, and Rom's no exception.
He's a centre forward, isn't he? He wants all the goals that he can get. Well, that defeat to Norwich City was all the more frustrating, obviously, because nobody really saw it coming. As we've just discussed 3 days earlier, a Middlesbrough side who've made a fairly solid start to the Premier League season were comprehensively brushed aside at Goodison Park, a win that kept the Toffees hard on the heels of the early pace setters Manchester City. Seamus Coleman scored the second goal in the 3-1 win, his first of the season.
Yeah, obviously delighted to get in the score sheet. It's been a while, and I just made a forward run, and I think Lukaku, I'm not sure if he left or if he flicked it on, and the space just seemed to open up for me, and just kept going, and great finish, and delighted it went in.
I guess when you get your name on the score sheet, it always feels that much better when the team goes on to take all 3 points.
Yeah, definitely. It was so important to get the win, and that's what it's all about at this stage of the season, to build momentum, and we have done that. And you know, every player will tell you it's always a bonus to get a goal, so you go home that little bit happier.
We had to do it the harder way this evening, had to come from behind, but a great response.
Yeah, we did. You know, I think it might have been a free kick on Martin. I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen it back, but yeah, we always felt that we could come back, and we showed great team spirit and great effort. And you know, obviously with Gaz getting the goal, it was just perfect, because what a performance as well. He's unbelievable, and still going at the age he is, and still like the best player. You know, the last couple of seasons. It's incredible, really.
It couldn't have gone much better, I guess, than for Gareth today.
No, and as you could see when he scored, how happy everyone was for him, and even I thought it was great the manager taking him off just to get that ovation from the fans. And as I said, you know, we're lucky to have him, because you're not going to see many players like that reaching them landmarks.
Well, as Seamus said there, that Middlesbrough game was also a celebration of a magnificent individual achievement. Gareth Barry played his 600th Premier League game and crowned it with a very well taken goal. He's only the third player to reach that total, behind Ryan Giggs and Frank Lampard, and needs just 33 more top flight appearances to overtake Ryan Giggs' record. So what's the secret?
So many things you need to go your way, but you know, I've always tried to keep my standards high, whether it's training, in the games, on and off the pitch. I've been lucky with injuries, especially in my club career. That was it. You try and do the right things. Been lucky to have good managers that have rated me, always seem to have trust in me. Just enjoyed my football, really. Took one game at a time. It's an old cliche, but you know, took nothing for granted. Never thought too much about what I have achieved before, and always tried to look forward. So there's a lot of things that I've took on along the way.
Who've been the key people in your journey so far, do you think?
Your parents, to start your career, they put so much time and effort as a young boy to get you on the road. I think all the managers I've got to give credit to along the way, that they've added something different and helped me. You know, there's a lot of managers to name. Martin O'Neill takes a lot of credit. He made the step to move me into centre midfield, which is my best position. He gave me confidence to play that role really well, and moved me on to another level to what I was at the time. Fabio Capello and Mancini, they brought something different and taught me a different role in terms of defensive midfield. They brought the Italian style, so they taught me something that I've used a lot in my game and has helped me. So every single manager, as a new manager here that I'm learning under now, Ronald Koeman, I'm sure, you know, will help me again.
And for you, how different is the Premier League from that day in 1998 to now? What are the differences? Do you think it's better now?
Yeah, it has to be better. The leagues, the Premier League is worldwide. It's watched by everyone across the world. But there's so many changes from the amount of thing that goes into the game now. Before, we used to turn up at half hour before training, roll out there, no pre-activation, no warm up before, do your training, eat your food and go home. Now players are coming in at 8:30, going home at closer to 3. There's so much more that goes in. It's you wouldn't believe the differences from then to now.
Snods, there was no Gareth Barry, of course, against Norwich City in the League Cup in the week, but it was right to give him a blow, wasn't it?
Very much so. You can't play him week in and week out. However important he is to us, because he is important. I think they've got a great little setup between him and Idrissa Gueye at the minute. They complement one another fantastically well, but you can't ask Gareth to play every single game of the season. We'd love to. He's not 24. He's getting on now, Gareth, and I'm sure he needed that rest as well.
Whenever we do question and answer sessions up and down the country, you often get asked which players from the current squad would fit in with your lads from the 80s. I'm sure Gareth would be one of them.
Yeah, 600 Premier League games is a feat. He's a top player and still is a top player. So, yeah, I want to mind Gareth Barry in our team in the 80s.
And he's still doing it now, isn't he? What a player. And that's it for part one of this week's show. Coming up after the break, we'll bring you footage of a very special plaque unveiling ceremony at Finch Farm. We'll hear from Ashley Williams and we'll show you the goals from a 5-0 away win at Arsenal. Yes, the under-23s are right back on track. Welcome back to part two. I had the pleasure of attending a lovely little ceremony at Finch Farm last week when the massive contribution of two unsung heroes was celebrated. Sid Benson and Bob Pendleton were two much respected and long-serving scouts for Everton Football Club. Between them, they brought in countless players, including Ross Barkley, Francis Jeffers and Wayne Rooney. We lost Sid recently, of course, but Bob was with us at Finch Farm when two commemorative plaques were unveiled in front of a whole host of family, friends and players past and present.
Sid played a massive part of me coming in as a 13-year-old, and was absolutely gutted a few weeks ago when we heard the news that he wasn't with us anymore. So, brilliant from the club that we've done a fitting tribute. Totally the right thing to do. It's great to share that with his family today. Great that Bob's here as well. I've known Bob for many years, and he's a terrific guy. And it's a fitting tribute to them both. And yeah, I'm very proud to have been asked to even be here, really, because they're two, massive top Evertonians.
I mean, anyone who come through the ranks here would know Sid and Bob really well. I wouldn't have missed this for anything. Sid was a real family friend and someone who I look up to, and someone who for me was a really big part of my life. Without them two, we wouldn't get the talent, or we wouldn't have had the talent. They brought all the good ones in, and even the ones that never made it, they looked after them when we're getting them fixed up elsewhere as well. So two special characters of Everton Football Club.
We're looking back on two special Evertonians, and unfortunately one of them isn't with us anymore, and it's certainly be sorely missed by everyone, and myself included. And they've done a brilliant job bringing numerous players to this football club year after year. And like I said, I'm gutted he's no longer here with us.
Snods, I was delighted to be invited to look after that ceremony and say a few words, and it was a lovely touch by the football club.
Absolutely fantastic, because a lot of fans don't realise, they don't even realise who the chief scout is sometimes at the club. Never mind the U-team scouts, and obviously Bob and Sid were a massive part for Everton, bringing in quality young players, as I've mentioned. And you see Franny Jeffers and Unzi and Ibo and Ozzy to turn up as well. Just shows what they think about the two gentlemen.
That meant so much to the family to see Ozzy and Hibbo there, because that's the first time either of them have been back to Finch Farm since last season. Yeah,
it's disappointing when you get released from a club and you're struggling to find a club and stuff like that, but that just shows what Hibbo and Ozzy are all about as well. They wanted to be there. They wanted to represent what they thought, what Bob and Sid had done for them, taking them to Everton Football Club. So, yeah, a fantastic gesture that both of them turned up.
In these days of massively inflated transfer fees, producing your own players and your scouts are vital, aren't they?
It's vital to Everton. It's always been known that Everton have always had a great youth policy, bringing players through, giving them a chance as well in the first team. And unfortunately, we lost Sid, but Bob's still there.
Two lovely people, lovely families as well. It was a lovely little day. Right, let's go back to school now. Very much a part of our extensive fan engagement programme is a school supporters club initiative where we encourage school children and teachers to establish their own supporters club, and in doing so forge a closer link to the football club itself. It's a great idea, and Gladys Street School, in the shadow of Goodison Park itself, of course, was keen to sign up, so we sent Ashley Williams along to meet the staff and the pupils.
Ashley, you've been here at the school meeting children. Enjoy yourself?
Yeah, it's been good fun. It's obviously it's a little bit more fun working with kids. They're a little bit unpredictable, but hopefully they all enjoyed it today. I know I did.
Got a bit of a grilling in that Q&A session?
Yeah, it was difficult. It was like a press conference with those questions coming in, and we even had some maths questions as well.
And one about a hamster as well, which caught you out.
Yeah, that wasn't a good moment. The little boy's hamster had died, and I asked him about it.
Did you ask him a question?
Yeah.
What did you ask him?
I asked him what's the best part about being a footballer. We got a colouring thing to colour in, and we went outside and done photos.
Great for Ashley to come in to the kids, you know, it inspires so many children. You know, we're just on the doorstep of Goodison Park, so it inspires so many children just seeing that every day when they're playing football outside the playgrounds.
And just tell us a little bit about the programme.
Plays like this, you know, coming in to actually see the children and being able to work with the children, you know, it inspires them. They're able to talk about the club that they love with the person who loves them, you know, as much as I do. So it's really good for the programme. And I think we're one of the first schools to have signed up to it. So hopefully now, you know, seeing this will inspire more schools to sign up to it and, you know, keep the programme going.
What do you think of Ashley Williams?
He's boss.
Does events like this just help you learn what it means to be an Evertonian?
Yeah, I think it's important, especially for the new players, to come out into the community. We're across the road from the stadium, and get a feel for the people that live around here, and obviously for them to see a player that they see on a Saturday, in their classroom is important as well.
And obviously, it's a fantastic programme as well. Young Blues able to talk about the club they love at school.
Yeah, and you can see that they do love the club. Obviously, very passionate fans, of all ages as well. So it's nice that they can talk to one of the players, and I get the chance to speak to them also.
Snods, I know you did a lot of community stuff when you were a player, and obviously you do a massive amount now as an ambassador. And we like going out to schools, don't we? Because the children don't hold back, do they?
No, they don't. As Ashley said, they're unpredictable. They certainly are. Some of the questions makes you blush at times as well, to be honest. But I think it's great for the new players to get out as early as possible in the community and find out what Everton is all about in the community, because we are second to nobody in that department. And it's quickly, they've got to understand, the new players, what are we all about. I think the older lads are a lot more comfortable around. The young lads and the lads that haven't got children are a bit more apprehensive when they go into these schools and talk about their lives and the football. But I think the more mature lads, the one with kids, feel a lot more relaxed going in there to talk to them.
And the kid from Gladys Street Primary School was right. Ashley Williams is boss.
Oh,
he's been
boss.
Great, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's boss. He really is. I love that word. When I come down and somebody said to me, "Your boss," I thought, what are they on about? But it's a great word. But no, he's settled in well, which we know he would. He's an experienced Premier League player. He's captain of his country, so I knew he'd settle in, and I know he's a good player.
And it's not the first community visit he's done either. Great lad. Now, after losing at home to Sunderland at Goodison Park last weekend, David Unsworth and his under-23 side were keen to bounce back when they travelled to London on Monday night to take on Arsenal. They certainly bounced back, that's for sure. The Gunners were simply blasted away.
Everton under-23s turned in a 5-star performance to demolish Arsenal on Monday evening. Everton took the lead after just 4 minutes when David Hennen broke free down the left and centred for Kieran Dowell to steer home. Dowell didn't even need to break stride as he swept the ball into the net to give the Blues an early lead. The second goal was a peach from the right foot of Liam Walsh. The midfielder stepped up and dispatched a 20-yard free kick into the corner of the goal just after half-time. It was 3-0 midway through the second period when Oumar Niasse got his name on the score sheet. Smart interplay down the right saw Gethin Jones make for the byline, and he put it on a plate for the Senegalese striker to tap home for Everton's third. The goals kept coming though, and substitute Callum Dyson got in on the act, converting another Jones centre to make it 4. Dyson's glancing header was a fitting way to celebrate his 20th birthday. And it got better for the striker late on when he grabbed Everton's 5th. Anthony Robinson powered down the left and pulled it back for Dyson to side foot home from just inside the box to complete a thoroughly satisfying evening's work for David Unsworth's men.
Well, that win lifted the Toffees back to the top of the Premier League 2 table, and David Unsworth was delighted that his players showed no hangover from their previous defeat.
Brilliant result, nothing more than we deserved. From start to finish, we were outstanding. We started great. We continued to press throughout the first half. We got a great early goal in the second half, a fantastic free kick, and then we just, were just too good, and we got the goals that our performance deserved today.
Was in control really from the 4th minute when Kieran set us on our way.
Yeah, we spoke about that before the game. We wanted to play in a certain way and we wanted to dominate them. We know that they play very much like their first team and they want to dominate possession. But we've done a lot of work in the week on trying to stop that and actually making the pitch really small and us dominating the possession as well. And we did that throughout the 90 minutes. It was a proper 95-minute performance today.
Yeah, we got the goals at the right time, just after half-time though. Liam whips a brilliant free kick into the net.
Outstanding. We know his quality. He does it every day in training. And finally, he's done one in a game, which we've been skitting him a little bit about doing it in games. But absolute great technician of a free kick. And, you'll go a long way to see a better goal than that.
And finally, the 4th and 5th goal, Callum came on and hit a quick fire brace.
Yeah, it's his birthday today, so he was a little bit disappointed that I dropped him. But he's a team player, very much a team player, and he's outstanding in the dressing room. We all love him, and I'm absolutely made up that he got his 2 goals and thoroughly deserved. Because to be fair, he didn't deserve to be dropped tonight because he's been brilliant for us, and he keeps scoring. And that's we've got a real competition for places at the moment. And the lads who came in, Harry came in, performed really well. Courtney came in and performed well. So it really is. It's a great group at the moment. We're all fighting in the right way for the position in the team, but whenever they're called upon, they produce their goods, and delighted for them tonight. Absolutely outstanding, very proud.
Snods, any 5-0 win away at any Arsenal side is to be welcomed.
I spoke to Unzi before the game against Norwich and congratulated him on his victory, and he was delighted. He was high praise of the lads, and you're right, he said Arsenal had the youngest side, and I said, Dave, don't matter what team there's put in front of you, to go away from home against an Arsenal team, whether they be young or old kids, win 5-0 is a great result. And he totally agreed. He said they played really well, knocked it about well, scored an early goal, which is important, as he's mentioned as well. So, yeah, very good result on the bounce back of the defeat against Sunderland.
He wanted a reaction from his young players, and he certainly got one. And part of that is probably down to Unzi himself, the way he handles them.
Yeah, see, we don't see what goes on through the week, and we don't know how good man management is, Dave. But I know him personally as a lad. I know how he'd react, and he's bringing the best out of these kids.
Some great goals as well. A terrific win for the 23s. Right, we're halfway through this week's Everton show. Coming up in part 3 is our big interview slot. This week we've got another one of our Around the Table features. I sat down at Finch Farm with 3 members of Joe Royle's FA Cup winning squad. David Unsworth, who played in the final, John Ebrell, who played in the earlier rounds, and Jimmy Martin, who put the kit out. Welcome back to part 3. It's an Around the Table feature for you this week, and sitting with me are 3 men who have served Everton in various different capacities over the years. David Unsworth was an apprentice, a player twice, and is now the under-23 coach. John Ebrell was a long-serving player who later came back as an academy coach, and Jimmy Martin started life as the team bus driver and then became the kit man. As you'd expect, they all had plenty to say. Welcome around the table, gentlemen. Great to see you, as always, down here at Finch Farm. The mid-1990s for Everton had a little bit of everything, almost relegation, winning the FA Cup, playing in Europe. It was a topsy-turvy time, but pivotal to it all, start with you, Unzi, was Joe Royle. And I suppose to a certain extent he still is.
Well, very much so, still is. You know, he's on board with us now with the under-23s, and he's in every day, and we love his company and his expertise and his stories. But really, when he came in the mid-90s, he was pivotal really in our success, and it started literally overnight. He came in and he changed straight away. The mentality changed straight away. We won the next game, albeit against Liverpool in the Merseyside derby, and it was like somebody pressed a switch.
I remember his first sort of conversation with the squad. It was all about that we'd become a little bit of a soft touch, and that was going to end. Training was going to be full on. We were going to wear shin pads. It was going to be we were going to play and train how we did in matches, and obviously the personnel were important, but that mindset change right at the beginning was fantastic.
You think the world of him, don't you, Jim, Joe Royle?
Yeah, he's a great fella. He's got a place near me in Ribby Hall Village, so I gathered.
You had to get that in, didn't you?
I had a couple of beers with him on a Sunday and showed him the ropes and, you know, show the place, who the king is at Ribby, and it's great. Yeah, I love Jim.
You're the king of Ribby Hall, aren't you?
Yeah, without a doubt, lad. There's no ifs and buts.
Do you remember this fella starting at the football club once?
I remember Jim being our coach driver, and then I remember his first day in Belfield. I was an apprentice then, and we went into the kit room and there was no kit there. So we went into the change rooms, there's no kit there. So we could hear Jim and Dave Ash in the back. We had the big baths at Belfield, you know, you could dive in them and they were brilliant. And all the kit was in the bath with bubbles everywhere, and this fella effing and blinding and the state of the kit. And he set his level that day and it's never changed since. But that was his first day. He chucked all the kit in the big plunge, didn't he?
Why?
Because it was a tip. The place was a tip. And so some of the socks were like rock hard. They stood up on their own. Didn't it?
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
We used to just, the first team would wear the kit and we'd just dry it because we had 2 dryers at Belfield. We didn't have a washing machine, so it stunk. How the first team put up with it,
I can remember that smell to this day. The kit was never washed, and I'm telling you, it never was. It was just dried and dried and dried, week on week. So it just became this horrible smell that you put on, but at least it was dry.
So you remember a young David Unsworth coming through then, won't you, John?
Absolutely, you know. So I was the sort of the hope, you know, in my era to come through, and then, you know, you're always, as a young local player, looking for the next one. You know, you take great interest in that, and obviously David was in and around what we were doing, and then obviously he got his chance, and that was that. You know, stayed in.
1994 Wimbledon, when we really were staring into the abyss. You were a young man at the time, a really young man, and I always remember the start of the second half. You were one of the first out the tunnel, and you were pumping your fists to the Gladys Street, and everybody thought, wow, if they're all like him, we'll be okay here.
And I think we had that was the mentality of the team at the time. All right, we weren't playing particularly well. I only came in for the last 6 games, and for me it was my big start. It was my first time I'd had a run in the team. I dipped my toe in occasionally, played about 4 or 5 games, but the last 6 games of that particular season, I started every game and played every game. So for me, that was the start of my career. And I just remember just coming out, and there was the Park End stand was being built, and there was people in the trees, hanging off the railings. The place was just full from about 2 o'clock. And it just got you going. But the game itself, it was 2-0 down. I remember Dean Holsworth had a chance to make it 3, free header from in the 6-yard box, and he blazed it over. And then from that goal kick, we went up the other end and we got the penalty, and it was 2-1. And from then, in the second half, we battered them, and I was right behind Barry Horn's goal, with a screamer. And then Graham got the winner.
With a screamer?
Well, yeah, let's leave it at that.
At the time, they were the last team you want to play to secure your survival, Wimbledon.
It was surreal, really. The atmosphere was completely different from a normal football match. There was that fear in the air, and you know, it transmitted onto the pitch. It wasn't a game to be enjoyed until it was over. It just needed, it was a result, that was it, nothing else. And it was a very strange game to play in. To be fair, great character from the players. I mean, you think about it, 2-0 down, and you know, it's looking, you know, absolutely done. And to turn that round and in such an important game was, so it goes down as a great day. But you're looking at it, and straight away you're thinking, we can't go through that again. You know, we're Everton, we're better than that. So you immediately start looking ahead.
It was a great atmosphere after, wasn't it? I think we won it.
I had a night out in Liverpool with Stewie Barlow and a few of Stewie's mates, and we ended up going in the Spello, and we ended up behind the bar, getting carried from side to side. How someone carried me from one side of the Spello, and we ended up in town, and it was a great night. And just there was a relief, but still a euphoria, because we'd been in trouble all season, but to come in right at the end and experience that for a young player, it was, you know, it was a massive game. But you only look back now and think, oh, that was, what if, you know, we hadn't have won.
What's the first thing that springs to mind, Duns, when I say 1995 FA Cup final?
I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember warming up. I remember the game. I remember hanging on for the last 15 minutes. Nev saves, the one where Nev came and plucked the ball out of the air like Pat Jennings with one hand. I remember it like it was yesterday. I'd just love to go back and relive it all because it was just the best day of my life.
Mixed emotions for you, John, obviously.
It was a great day for me. You know, I didn't play, but I was massively part of it. I played in all the rounds except for the semi-final and final, and you know, I was delighted. As I say, we were a close dressing room. You know, you wanted your team to win and your friends, and it was a great day, great day.
That was one good thing about Joe. He did pick the right team on the right day. Otherwise, I don't think we would have won.
Good one, Jim. I like. You've been waiting for that for a while.
Get wicked in it.
A pen and paper for ages.
He's waited 20 years for that.
Graham Stewart gave you that one to
Did you keep a few shirts back from Wembley, Jim? Souvenirs?
No, never.
Should have done.
Yeah, I should have done. Never. Don't save things like that.
I've still got mine.
See them every day, don't you?
I've still got mine. Yeah, I'm not one for memorabilia like that. You know, but I've still got mine.
Do you ever put it on?
I don't fit anymore.
That's what he said it.
He's cheating me right up, hasn't he?
The banter's flying, Jimmy, but these are good lads, aren't they? It's good to have people like this back at the football
Brilliant.
club.
You've got to have people like this in the football club. Otherwise, there's no banter, there's no game, is there? No. Got to have the characters have got to be here, haven't they?
We're not bad coaches as well, Jim, you know.
I don't know, I'm not
Hey, you never leave that kit room, man.
You've already lost 27 balls already.
That's how you're judging us. We don't bring all the balls back
Only
in. That's
because
how
it's
you
you
judge
two.
us
You'd
as
be paying
coaches.
90 quid out of all them, lad. No, it's the banter's good, isn't it? I haven't changed, these haven't changed, and that's the way we try and keep it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll just finish off with you two. The camera's rolling. Keep it clean. What about this fella?
They hit me between the eyes, these Everton values and standards, and it's hard to put a finger on, but they're just there. And people like Jimmy, I think, are instrumental in that and important in that of keeping the actual values that we've had, keeping feet on the ground of young players coming through, you know, not getting everything that they want, not just Jimmy the kit man, but in other areas as well, and making them earn what they need to get to the next level. And Jimmy is absolutely one of the best at keeping feet on the ground in his own way.
Ebo loves me. He still keeps a picture of me in his pocket.
I have actually.
He absolutely loves me. He's kept that picture for like
What's this?
30 odd years.
You look well there, Jim, actually.
Your nose looks bigger there than it does
now. Yeah, going out of it.
Show the camera runs.
Yeah,
you might have to go back a bit to get his nose in.
I look well there, don't I?
Last word with you, Uns.
He's Mr. Everton for me. You know, he's drove the bus. He's done the kit for so many years. He's brilliant with the first team players. You know, new players, straight away when they come in, they get it off Jim. You know, they know the standards. You know, he's the biggest blue I've ever met. And he's brilliant at his job. He's got a great staff around him as well, who are just like him, but just generations younger. So he's keeping that tradition going. And it's a privilege to come into work and work alongside him every day.
Thanks for joining us, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Snods, that was a lot of fun doing that feature. Three fellas that you know very, very well.
Yeah, just looking at the picture though on that one, it must have been Unzi's story that, because the way that they're laughing, I know Jimmy Martin and Ebo haven't got stories to laugh at, so it's got to be Unzi's story that. But no, three great lads. Played with Unzi, played with Ebo, and Jimmy were the driver, when I first arrived, and then went to kit manager. So I've got time for all three. Really,
He got a lot of stick, Jimmy, when he was the bus driver, because bus drivers tend to.
He got absolutely, honestly, he got battered every time. Take your foot off take the handbrake off, Jimmy, and have you got a boil on your foot and stuff like that. But to be fair, when Jimmy was driving the bus, he hated other coaches overtaking him. And when we did, all the lads were going, Jimmy, there's another bus, and he just put his foot down a little bit more to beat him. But no, great character, Jimmy Martin.
The young players who he thinks get everything too easily, are terrified to ask Jimmy for a wet top if it's raining, or for different boots or a sweatshirt. And was he that bad when you were a player?
No, he weren't. But I think that's great. I think it's great that they're scared to go and ask the kit manager for a raincoat or stuff like that, because it just gives them a bit of respect. Oh no, we've got to go and ask Jimmy, it's raining, for a raincoat, because you know what he's like. But eventually he gives in to them and gives them what they need. But no, I like that side of Jimmy Martin.
One thing that will never change in football, regardless of what happens with media, television, money and everything, you need characters in your dressing room, in your training ground.
You certainly do, because you get up in the morning, you've got the best job in the world in my eyes, to play football, but you also like to go to work and have characters around you and have a laugh at times. In our time, we had John Clinkard, the physio, we had Terry Darracott, Mick Lyons, etc. So we had great backroom staff as well that you used to go in and enjoy a laugh before training.
And Doc Irvin.
And the Doc.
Who's still there now. We're taking a short break right now, and in the fourth and final section of this week's programme, we'll feature a terrific win for the Under-18s. We'll hear from an always smiling Yannick Bolasie, and we'll look ahead to a weekend at the seaside when we travel to Bournemouth. Welcome back to part 4 of this week's Everton show. Now, the Under-18s haven't had things quite their own way so far this season, but they finally gathered in their first 3-point haul of the campaign last weekend. And in some style, they played Derby County and hit them for 6.
Kevin Sheedy's men got their first win of the season in emphatic style with a 6-goal demolition of Derby County. Shane Lavery opened the scoring early on, capitalising on an underhit back pass and finishing well. Derby levelled through this crisp effort from Henry Wise, but that was as good as it got for the Rams. Manas Mampala swept home to make it 2-1 to the Blues just before half-time. And after the break, Everton were rampant, scoring 4 times in quick succession. First, Anthony Evans' incisive run and clinical finish made it 3-1. Before the forward turned provider, crossing from the right for Callum Lees to head in unopposed at the far post. 8 minutes later, Lees headed in another cross, this time an in-swinging corner, to make it 5-1. But Everton weren't done yet. Another Evans cross caused carnage in the Derby penalty area, and Lavery was on hand to bookend the victory with his second of the day.
Snods, we've said time and time again on this Everton show that academy football is all about the development and not necessarily about the results, but having not won so far this season, Sheeds and the lads will be mightily relieved to be up and running.
Yeah, my old mate might have a smile on his face now. They've got the first 3 points, but yeah, he's been working hard. He's been trying to encourage the lads, telling them not to get their heads down. It'll turn, and it certainly did for them. It were an emphatic victory. Some good goals in there. Anthony Evans took his goal well, and he crossed a great delivery for the 4th goal as well. A couple of goals from Lees as well. So, yeah, great victory, and hopefully now that they can go on a little bit of a run. It is all about development, but you also like to win as well.
Does it affect young players when they go a few weeks without winning a game?
Yeah, I think it does. I know they've got to look to their own performances and play as well as they can, and you're always told, think of your own performances, but it's a team game, and it's always nice to win games because the boys come in confident, smile on the face, even before you've kicked off. But if you don't go on that little run and you're losing week in and week out, you're always apprehensive before the game, thinking, are we going to win this? What's going to happen? So it's important. It really is important to win as well.
Looking well, your mate, isn't he?
He does look well. That's I keep telling him as well, and he keeps reminding me I've got to lose a few pounds as well. So, but he does. He looks well.
It's always great to see Kevin Sheedy down at Finch Farm. Well, we've already suggested that the League Cup setback should be viewed as nothing more than a blot on an otherwise clear landscape for Everton so far this season. There are too many positives to dwell on, one of which is the blossoming relationship between Yannick Bolasie and Romelu Lukaku. Bolasie is loving life at Everton, and he clearly enjoys linking up with his big mate.
You know, we've got a good understanding, and I kind of know what he wants, you know, as a forward, and he kind of knows what I want to do, so it just makes it easier, I guess.
Does it help when you've got that friendship off the pitch as well?
Yeah, definitely. You know, definitely helps with being a friend off the pitch and speaking to him. a couple of times when I've played against Everton in the past, it seemed like it was a natural, that kind of friendship.
How much you enjoying it generally then, Yannick, being an Everton player?
Yeah, definitely enjoying it. Obviously people wouldn't be expecting us to have started this strong, but as a team we just got to keep going and keep our feet on the ground. That's the main thing.
What have you made to the chant Evertonians have adopted now of your name?
Yeah, so it's great. Obviously I heard it before. But for them to welcome me into the team, it's incredible for myself, and obviously gives myself the confidence, to carry on doing what I do. Because my game, it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be times where I'm going to lose the ball, but if the fans know that I'm always going to put in 100%, without the ball, then it kind of makes up for what I try to do. And if I come off the game with something like an assist or a goal, then myself, I'm personally buzzing. But the main thing is that we get 3 points.
There's so much more to come from that partnership as well, isn't there? Yannick Bolasie and Romelu Lukaku.
Yeah, I think looking at social media, I think they get on really well. They're always having a little chip at each other, especially over the goal of the other night, and they seem to get on really well. As Yannick said, they talk quite a lot, and it's good that they do get on, because hopefully Yannick's going to provide loads of chances for Rom when he's crossing balls into the box. The partnership hopefully will thrive from then.
We've won 2 away games so far in the Premier League, 2 great wins as well, one at West Brom, one at Sunderland. I'm expecting it to be 3 out of 3.
I am. It's not easy to keep going away from home and getting victories, no matter who the opponent's against, but I think we're playing with that much confidence. Once all the lads are back as well, that the boss rested the other night, we've got a really strong squad. Not a strong team, a strong squad, but I think we can go to Bournemouth. We've not got off to the greatest of starts. I think we can go down there and get all 3 points. Not many fans can go down there because of the restrictions of the crowd, but what we've got a full house, and they'll be cheering the Blues on. And the boys will thank that. It's a long journey down to Bournemouth, and we've took the full allocation, and I'm sure the Evertonians will get behind them. Hopefully they can put a performance on, Daz, that will give us all 3 points.
There'll be loads of toffees down by the seaside,
I've
that's
no
for sure.
doubt
Probably far more than will actually go to the game. That's how it works. Right, let's hear now from Ronald Koeman. The boss was understandably disappointed with the League Cup exit, but he's hoping that the confidence derived from a terrific start to the Premier League season will be back on Saturday, and that his side can continue to build an all-important momentum.
It's always important, because if you win, you get confidence. The people are happy, and that's the best way to perform. And but okay, and that means that we need to be prepared for tomorrow, and we need to put attention and to start well.
I know you put a lot of focus on team ethic and the work rate. What do you feel, what do you sense that the current run of results has done for the mood in the camp?
I think the team is really playing as a team and defending together, attacking together. It's a good team spirit. I think we have really that energy what you need to play and to win games. And that's good, but we like to continue, and that's hard work, and that's every day on the pitch, on the training pitch, because that's really the way and the place to improve.
Snods, with all due respect to Bournemouth, I would think that they would accept 4th from bottom at the end of the season, so they're in the Premier League next year.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. I think they brought some decent players in, but it is difficult with them, for them. Sorry, they're playing against opposition that have been in the Premier League for years. The capacity of the ground's not that big. Eddie Howe's done a superb job in getting them to the Premier League and staying in there last season. They've signed 3 players, to my knowledge, that are decent players. Jordan Ibe from our neighbours. They've signed Jack Wiltshire, who I think, come fit, is one of the best attacking midfield players in the country. I know he's had his injury problems, and they bought a young lad from Leeds United, Cook as well, who's a busy little player in midfield. But I just think we've got enough quality and enough experience, enough attacking flair to go down there and get 3 points.
What about last season?
Oh, don't even describe it. I watched it in Birkdale Village, and I was absolutely all over the place when we went 3-2 up, and within a minute I was put back on my backside quickly. So I don't want to see that again. I want a comfortable victory if we can, But as long as we get 3 points, then I'm sure every Evertonian, the staff, the manager, the players will all be delighted if we can make that long trip home happy.
Jag should be back in the starting 11.
Yeah, I've no doubt about it. He's the skipper of the team. He's playing as well as ever. And I'm sure he'll partner Ashley Williams in the art of the defence.
Good Evertonian, I believe, Eddie Howe.
Yeah, I believe so. I just hope he thinks about us during that 90 minutes and just lets us turn them over. And I hope they do well for the next, how many games. But come on, Eddie, just do the Blues a favour and give us 3 points.
There's every chance he watched you play then, isn't there?
Probably. I reckon that's where he got his right back to look at the videos of me in my day. But no, it's great, all Evertonians. I just want to have a good day.
We wish Eddie Howe well, obviously, after this weekend. Right, just before we go, a reminder that next week's Everton show will be broadcast on the Thursday. It'll be repeated at the normal time of 7 o'clock on the Friday, but as we'll all be at Goodison Park then, preparing to play Crystal Palace, we've decided to broadcast the first showing on the Thursday evening at 6 o'clock and again at 11 o'clock. Make a note in your diaries. Thanks to Snods for joining us this week. We've enjoyed your company once again, and we'll see you on the Everton show next Thursday.